I feel like my introduction to electronic music was probably listening to pirate radio.
I was like, what is this music? It's like, it makes you want to move, but it's not like anything I'd heard at home.
I mean, I could probably get really cerebral with it and talk about the heartbeats, this electronic pulse.
Fridge bar was like a massive part of my like initial raving years in Brixton. Drinking, chilling, dancing, there'd be like MTV bass playing. It was like real significant moments for me.
Those formative experiences really made me understand the roots of what the dance floor can be, what its purpose is. It's ultimately to bring people together, create a community in a space. That place can become a sanctuary.
So my name is Shy One, real name's Marley, DJ, beatmaker / producer.
It's Errol Anderson, DJ, curator. I'm also the founder of Touch and Bass.
Tash LC, I'm a DJ, presenter, and I'm part of the Boko Boko crew.
Tommy Golds, DJ, and I'm part of Bone Soda. Something that we're trying to do with Bone Soda is marry the love of music, but also the love of design and aesthetic and like continuous branding, which is something that was just naturally happening in those times. You know, I love music and I love how it makes you feel, but there's something that makes so much sense to me personally with collaborating that with design and beautiful like imagery.
For me, my earliest memories of a dance floor are Sunday night. Mum just cooked some amazing rice and peas, maybe some jerk chicken, some plantain in there as well. And it's just me, my mum, and my dad just blasting music.
When I first heard dance music, I thought it was white music. I always thought the idea of me making music and working music was something I wanted to do, but I thought it'd have to be purely in a hip-hop sort of dimension because that's what I was surrounded by at the time.
Going back to my early raving days, like obviously I was raving to drum and bass and raving to jungle and then raving to house, but at the time like I never really thought of them as black music genres because you're kind of presented a lot of electronic music from the white perspective.
I knew my dad was on radio from I was 3 years old. I understood that, and him and my godfather, I knew that they were DJs in clubs, but it was just like, it seemed like they were very lucky people to be doing what they were doing. It just seemed like they were like one in however many. But it wasn't really like encouraged and acknowledged as something that I was passionate about and kind of was like behind them on until I was 13 and Jazzy bought me my first pair of turntables.
When I was at Radar, I was studio assistant. And I remember I was doing loads of broadcast assisting for like different shows there, and it was like mainly guys and mainly techno and house and grime. I was kind of in this time where I was starting to uncover like global club music and all this kind of like Afro-y sounds. And then I came across Hannah one day, Mina, and we got chatting and I was going to produce her show and I was like, oh, you're doing a techno show? And she was like, no, I play like global club. And I was like, oh, this is what I like. So a big part of why I love DJing is actually connecting with women, to be honest. Like, there's moments when I'm playing, a woman's looking at me, and you see that moment of acknowledgement, and that, for me, keeps me going. Tracing the lineage between new music and old music is so important, which is why I did really rate a lot of the exhibition today. There was a part in particular of these women from back in, like, the maybe 40s playing on these, like, huge machines and making weird electronic sounds. Kind of going back to a time of like the 1920s even, where you wouldn't have even like considered electronic music to even be like, begin to be a thing, and actually understanding that those kind of like small movements and moments were happening from back then.
All my brethren, when I'm in high school and that, they're doing normal teenage stuff. I'm saving my pocket money and going record shopping, and then I'm coming home and I'm like spending hours with headphones and making beats and stuff. It was just this thing that made sense to me in a world of a lot of things that I didn't really get or I wasn't ready to take part in. Joining Babes was mad late for me, like as a 26-year-old, just first going to queer parties then as a queer 26-year-old. But also that came at that stage at the right time of my life where I was ready to kind of enter that, embrace that and explore it. And I loved it. Like, we'd have meetings, but the meetings would just go on because we'd just be chatting. You've just got a bunch of music heads just with other people that understand, that speak their language.
Some of my favourite club nights, including our own Touch and Bass, without getting all evangelical about it, there is a certain church-like element. Just regularly and consistently gathering in a certain space to celebrate something that you can't really explain. Do you know what I mean? Like it was quite difficult to get to grips with not having that regularity. It's as much about being a community as it is about just like putting my USB into some CDJs and running some tunes. Firstly, music and design move hand in hand. Like, if the cone of a sound system wasn't built the way it is, then music wouldn't reverberate within us in the way that it does. Do you get what I mean? There's no way of separating the two things.
Beginning of lockdown almost didn't feel real, and I was living just day to day, and then it became living week to week, and it was like I'd have a week where I'm so productive and I'm getting so much stuff and I'm planning like my own personal music and stuff, but then I'd have 2 weeks where I'm not doing anything. I find it hard to even get out of bed.
It's made me determined to prove even more that like how necessary we are, and also like want to kind of utilize what I do even more so outside of myself to help others in any way that I can, and to just keep on like pushing music no matter what.
It's just like nothing can still truly match the experience of like rubbing shoulders with someone and just like gun fingering and, you know, just like bopping and just sharing space.
There's a couple moments, one in particular where there was like Laurent Garnier's mix was playing in this room and there was like these mad strobes, and I was like, oh my God, this feels like a club if you just close your eyes for like 1 sec.
I was too young when that stuff was happening, I wasn't around. And so I had to go back and research and find out about this era, like the foundations of house music, of techno, but the Chicago room, the Detroit room. I'm still learning, recognizing the sounds and then getting it and being like, oh my days, this is from this tune, like that record that I used to always hear growing up. Like the Roland 909, I now have the modern day kind of boutique version of that, as well as the Roland TVO3.
A lot of the stuff that is being exhibited, they're just like, you know, they're people that came before me. It's like, it's my uncles, it's my aunties, it's my blood. So I'm just coming in to say hello.
Growing up, I used to like rave and have no idea where these sounds were actually pioneered from. And now I'm older and I'm connecting these dots and it all makes sense. And I'm researching and looking into the pioneers and understanding how much influence we've had is incredible.
Even if, you know, the music might sound the furthest thing from black music now, then you need to realize where this came from. Like, this EDM music is originally black music.